Hi, my name's Vincent from McGrath Estate Agents, and I specialise in selling acreage properties. Welcome to this week's Acreage Market Wrap, where I'll share an insight into how's the acreage market. There are a number of factors currently having an impact on the acreage sector, and I'll cover some of those in a moment. But firstly, I just wanted to stress the importance of incentives for first home buyers, property investment, new home building, and other government decisions regarding infrastructure and fiscal policy and how they can influence the acreage market. For example, this week the Real Estate Institute of Australia identified 12 priorities that they've recommended to the federal government ahead of the upcoming budget in May to help assist property customers in what's now become a COVID normal Australia. Now, one of the recommendations proposed is interest payments for first home buyers to be made tax deductible, because there are currently at least 6 other OECD nations that have a similar incentive for more affordable home ownership in place. And the REIA estimates that this initiative would provide a benefit of around $4,000 per annum to Australia's first home buyers. Now, further initiatives for first home buyers are going to be much needed, as increases in property prices will make housing less affordable, and some first home buyers could be squeezed out of the market again as investors begin to return due to rising prices, positively geared properties due to the low interest rates and better yields than term investments, and the possibility of first home buyer incentives diminishing. Now, to see a full outline of the 12 priorities proposed by the REIA, I'll put a link to the article below this video. Now, looking at a snapshot of the differing Sydney housing predictions is really interesting, especially when you consider that these same people were the ones who forecasted around 10 to 30% price falls throughout 2020. ANZ Bank have forecast an increase of 9% in 2021, Riskwise forecast 8 to 10% increase, NAB predicted a 4.4% increase, SQM Research forecast an increase of between 7 and 11%, and Westpac forecast Sydney property prices could increase by 14% 2020 to 23. Now, the differing opinions of these property forecasts, it looks like 2021 is going to be a very positive year for growth within the housing sector and the acreage market. Now, with vaccines already being rolled out in the US and UK and Australia to follow suit very shortly, it seems the Australia's economy is powering out of the recession, and with ScoMo putting an end to the debate about the government and extending or replacing JobKeeper payments due to end on the 31st of March, rather, he said some industries like tourism or hospitality may benefit from targeted assistance, which should ease any concerns of a fiscal cliff upsetting the property market. Now, also this week, the Reserve Bank kept the official cash rate unchanged at the historic low of 0.1%, and many banks are now offering below 2% interest rates on home loans with fixed rates for 4 years, which makes borrowing to move on acreage at its most affordable right now than it has been for a decade or more. Now, changes to lending rules that will make it easier to borrow money are expected in the next few weeks, which will further propel the market, and over the coming months, the finance sector will see an injection of third-tier lenders who will be offering more flexible loan products. Now, on top of that, there's almost 40,000 Australians on a waiting list hoping to return from overseas as soon as possible, which will boost the demand for property in the first half of the year and partly make up for the lack of immigration expected in 2021, with the international borders still remaining closed to non-citizens indefinitely. However, immigration could kick off very quickly once a significant percentage of the Australian population is vaccinated. Now, within the building sector, the end of last year saw the biggest increase in new home unit sales in 20 years, largely due to the new first home buyer incentives, making new homes more affordable, and as a result, inquiry from property developers looking for rezoned land has now escalated dramatically, and the prices currently being offered per acre by some developers has increased by around 25 to 30% from what they were paying towards the end of last year. Now, the overall impact that a COVID normal lifestyle is now having on our everyday lives is actually enticing buyers to relocate to suburbs where they prefer to live and have the ability to work from home rather than focusing their priorities on the commute to work. Now, this shift to focusing on enjoying a better domestic lifestyle is definitely having a positive effect on the price growth within the acreage sector. So how's the acreage market? Well, currently there are 260 acreage properties for sale across the region. Now this total includes 140 acreage properties for sale throughout the Hawkesbury, plus there are 76 acreages for sale throughout the Hills District and another 44 acreages for sale within Sydney's northwest acreage areas of Penrith and Blacktown. Now the total number of acreage properties for sale has decreased by 34% from this time last year, which means the market has reverted back to a seller's market since there are now 135 fewer listings available to choose from. Now, overall, there are only 9 new acreage listings come onto the market this week, which included 3 new listings in the Hawkesbury, 4 new listings in the Hills, and 1 each in each of the other areas. Now, there are a total of 17 acreage properties sold this week, plus there are currently 26 acreages under contract across the region, with 16 of those properties under contract located within the Hawkesbury. Now, out in the field this week, volume of buyer inquiry was very high compared to this time last year. The stunning home at 10 Nutwood Lane, Windsor Downs, was sold earlier this week for $2.3 million, plus number 9 Avon Place, Windsor Downs, went under contract, in addition to 2 of my off-market acres listings. Now, one of them was a 2.5 acre property with a modern home at 96 Royadale Place in East Currajong, and the other was a 7.9 acres bush block with an older home located on the main road at 331 the Northern Road, Londonderry. Now, both of these 2 properties were snapped up before they even got to hit the market at all. This week, I plan launching at least 2 more off-market acres listings. Now, one of them is a home on a 5,840 square metre block in Windsor Downs with a swimming pool and a separate workshop. It's coming on the market with a price guide starting from around 1.55 million to 1.65 million, which has now become pretty much the minimum entry level for a home in Windsor Downs. And the other property is a really nice contemporary style homestead on over 5 acres in a great part of Londonderry with potential for a separate dual accommodation. Now, it's an ideal setup for a large family and for anyone with trucks, etc. So the price guide is going to be set just below the 2 million mark at around 1.9 million. I think there's going to be a lot of interest for both of these new listings from our existing buyers who are already registered for early access to our off-market acres. Plus, I currently have several other off-market acreage listings available, which includes a superb 9 acres property in Londonderry, a modern home on over 3 acres complete with a motorbike track in a terrific part of East Currajong, plus a 10 acre property in Wilberforce, and a stunning resort style home on over half an acre in North Richmond, as well as a fabulous place on 6.7 acres in Glossodia with a spectacular homestead, plus it features a massive 360 square metre workshop. So if you'd like to find out more about any of these properties, or you'd like to be amongst the first to know about any of my upcoming off-market acreage listings, make sure you register for your exclusive free access right now at offmarketacres.com.au. Now lastly, just before I go, I'm currently putting together some important insights into what else is happening within the acreage market, which I'll be featuring in the upcoming autumn edition of the Acreage Report 2021. So stay tuned over the coming weeks for how you can access your free copy of this exclusive acreage report. So that's it for this week's Acreage Market Wrap. If you've got any questions about anything I've shared this week, or you'd like to discuss any of your acreage